Hello, art friends. This is Mrs. Raleigh. Today we're going to take a look at drawing a face. Faces are challenging, so this might take a couple tries, but follow along with the video. You can pause at any time to help you learn how to draw a face. All you need is a pencil, an eraser is helpful, a ruler, and a piece of paper. So we're going to take a look today at how to go from just drawing a basic face to a face that's a little bit more proportioned and looks a little bit more realistic than what you might have drawn before. We're going to work on the proportions of a face as well as the shapes of all of the features that are on a face. We're going to start with pencil and a ruler. We're going to first draw a circle. Sometimes I like to start by drawing that circle in the air first before I commit it to the paper, just to get that practice in that shape before I put it down on paper. Or I'll start on my paper just drawing circles, and I'll do a few on my paper, and then I'll go back and I'll find that part of the circle that is nice and round. So however best you want to draw a circle to start with, that'll get us going on our face. I recommend drawing lightly because we might want to go back and clean things up with an eraser. I'm going to draw a little bit darker though, just so it's visible, but I like to start light normally and then go in and darken lines as I go along. So next we're going to add a chin, and everyone has a chin that's different shapes. I find it helpful when I'm drawing a face to look at either a picture of someone, or if there's somebody in your house that wants to sit and be your model, you can look at someone else. But you want to look at that chin shape. Is it round? Is it pointed? I did mine, this one comes down to a little bit more of a point, and I erased that line from the circle so we have more of an actual face shape. Then I'm going to put in some guidelines. This is just to help me figure out where everything goes. I'm going to draw one line on the top, and I'm going to draw one line on the bottom, and I'm going to use those lines to help lay out the features of the face. So next, I'm going to measure between that top line and the bottom line to find the middle point between them. So I might have to do a little bit of math, figure out how far they are apart from each other, and then figure out what that middle point is going to be. So I'm going to find that middle point between the top and the bottom. I'm just going to put a little mark there so I know where it is. And then I'm going to draw one more line across the middle of my head there. And again, that's just going to help us to put our features on the face in a realistic manner so we have the proportions of the face correct. We have the right spacing of all the features on our face. Now, I'm going to next draw a line that goes up and down. So I'm going to figure out the middle point of my head, and I'm going to draw a line that goes from the top to the bottom of the head. Now I've got almost like a graph there on the head so I can figure out where to put things. I'm going to start on one side with a curve for the eye. I'm going to do a curve above the line and below the line. Now look at the width of my eye. I want to leave about that much space in between the eyes before I do my next one. So the space between the eyes should be equal to the space of the eyes. I did a curve on the bottom. I'm just going to do a little fixing up to make sure my eyes are about the same shape on each side, and darkening up the eyes once I commit to where I want those lines to be. So I've started my eyes. Now I'm going to fill in the iris of the eye. So a little circle in the eyes, about the same size on each one. And then that little pupil in the middle. Mine are just looking straight. You could put them to the side more if you wanted your person looking to the side, or move them up or down to make the person look up or down. I'm going to draw a little line above the eye to represent that eyelid. And the eye shape too, just like the chin, everyone's eyes are different shapes. You can look at a picture or look at someone around you to figure out the right shape. I'm going to do a little line below the eye as well for that bottom eyelid. So I have a basic shape of my eye. Next I'm going to add an eyebrow. Again, lots of different shapes. Some people have really thick eyebrows, some have thin. Up to you how big you want those eyebrows to be. I'm going to go in and thicken those ones up a little bit. We can always go back to those as we like. I'm going to add some eyelashes as well. Everyone has eyelashes, so a little bit of eyelash on there. So now we've got our eyes. Next thing we're going to start on is the nose, but first we're going to figure out the placement. So I'm going to measure again from that middle line before to the bottom and find the midpoint. And I'm going to do another line across the middle of that bottom, so I'm dividing kind of the bottom quarter of that. So I'm going to do a line halfway between those bottom lines, and then I'm going to draw across there. So now I have that line on the very bottom there that's going to show where the lips go, and that line up here is going to be our nose. Noses are tough, so I'm going to start with just a little curve for the bottom of the nose, kind of that middle part of the nose, little shading down the side to show the side of the nose. I'm going to show you another shape you can use for a nose, just a little curve in the middle, curve down on both sides like that's going around the nostrils, and then a little curve on each side of the nose for the side of the nose, and then a curve on the top there to show the edge of the nose and the curve of the nose itself. So I'm going to do that little side of where the nostrils are going to go, fill in the nostrils a little bit, and I've got that line down the side to show where the nose would curve. So I'm just going to touch up the line on one side, and then I'm doing the line on the other, and that just gives me the shape of the length of the nose. Next thing I'm going to do is the lips. I'm going to start with a curve up on one side and down, up and down on one side, and up and down, trying to match on the other side. And then a big curve for the bottom lip from one side all the way over to another. Everyone's lips look different shapes too, so some are more curved, some are more pointy, some are flatter, some are wider. Up to you on the lips. Again, looking at a picture I find very helpful to get the shape of the lips. Next we're going to do the ears. We're going to start at that middle line, and we're going to go down to the next line, kind of curving in and out for the ears. Again, looking at an ear shape is helpful. It's almost like an S curve along the side there. I think my ears are a little off balance, so I'm just going to touch one up a little bit and try to match those shapes. But again, looking at someone's ears I find super helpful. And I'm just going to clean that up a little bit and try to get them to match a little bit more. We want some symmetry, so we want what's on one side of the face to look like what's on the other side of that middle line there. We want that symmetry. Now I'm going to add a hairline. I'm just going to start right above the ear and curve around to just above the other ear, just to give me an idea of where the hair would sit. Now that's going to make her look a little bit more realistic and not like she has such a big forehead. I'm going to just do some little curved wispy lines. I'm going to have the hair come above the top of the head there. We want that hair to go around there. It doesn't necessarily sit just on top of the head unless your person's bald. Before I go too far on the hair, I'm going to add a neck. I'm going to start at the ear and do a curved line coming down. At the ear, curved line coming down. Sometimes people draw heads with the necks too skinny. It makes it look like a little bobblehead, but starting just below the ear and coming down will give you a nice neck shape. I'm going to fill in the hair a little bit more. You could make your hair look more straight, more curly, give different hairstyles, up to you of what you want the hair to look like. I'm just going to give her a few little lines in here to make it look like some curls of hair going around. Just going to keep filling that in a little bit. And I'll start to lose that line around the top of the head as I fill in the hair a little bit. I could give some accessories. I'm just going to do some little earrings. Back on the neck, I'm going to add some clothes like a collar here. I'm going to do a curved line. I'm going to go just past the line of the neck and curve back in so it looks like it's sitting on her, not just flat across her. Little lines just to suggest the shoulders coming out. Not really worried about a body today. We're just going to focus on the face. So I'm going to add just a little bit of touch up, maybe darken the lips in a little bit, add a little shading in there. At this point, you can add any final details that you want to add. So you can see the face is nicely proportioned. Things are spaced evenly. We have symmetry from one side of the face to the other. So it gives us a much more realistic look to the face that we're drawing. Now that we've done the basics, you could try this again. You could clean up your picture. You could add some black line over your pencil. You could add some color or shading to your drawing. And you can continue to build your skills with drawing a face. Thanks for drawing along with me today. Have a great day.